into a discussion that we were having earlier and probably will be having for another 8 years. Xander Bogaerts. What happened to him in San Diego? Why is he not even close? We knew the Padres overpaid. We all agree.
Get ready, Friar Faithful. This is the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on the Padres Radio Network.
Jackson swings, hits it in the air, deep to right field. He has done it again. Unbelievable.
Coming up, we'll have a recap of the previous Padres game, a preview of today's starting pitching matchup, our keys to the game. Plus, we'll hear from manager Mike Shildt.
Ultimately, what we're here to do is win.
From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. Today, the Padres take on the San Francisco Giants in the final game of a 4-game series. Our starting pitching matchup today on the mound for the Padres, right-hander Dylan Cease, and for the Giants, left-hander Robbie Ray. Hi, good everyone. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. First pitch coming up at 12:45 as the Padres go for a series win in the Bay. Coming up in the next 50 minutes, we have a lot to do as we walk you up towards first pitch. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. We'll hear from today's starting pitcher Dylan Cease. We'll check in with Gwyn Jr. inside the radio booth in just a little bit. Our keys to the game, full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, a preview of today's starting pitching matchup, and much, much more to come. But first, it's time to set the table. Brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971 with 3 locations, La Mesa, Vista, and Oceanside, and at FraserFarmsMarket.com. Padres enter today 35-25. Padres have won 8 of their last 12 games, and today they aim to secure a 4th consecutive series win. Padres enter today in second place in the National League West, just 1 game out of first place behind the LA Dodgers. Meanwhile, the Giants come in 34-28. They sit in third in the NL West, 3 games out of first place. Well, after the Padres won a pair of low-scoring extra inning games to begin this series, last night was a very different kind of game. Let's rewind.
Did you miss what happened in the last Padres game? Let's take a look back with our Padres Rewind on the Padres Radio Network.
The Padres struck early last night, courtesy of Gavin Sheets.
1-1 to Sheets on a breaking ball, hits it in the air to deep right. Johnson is back. He will turn to watch, and it's off the bricks. Fernando has scored. Manny's on his way as it rolls back towards the infield. How about a 2-run triple for Gavin Sheets? And a 2-0 Padre lead here in the first.
Padres still led 2-0 going to the 5th inning. There were runners on first and second for Jackson Merrill.
Jackson Merrill with 2 on 1 out, sends it the other way. That is a fair ball up the left field line. It'll kick off the side wall. Fernando has scored a rise into third base. That's where the throw goes, not in time. Merrill standing at second with an RBI double, and the Padre lead is now 3-0.
Padres weren't done. Later in the inning, Gavin Sheets struck again.
Sheets, first pitch breaking ball goes off the back of Harrison, kicks into right field. A rise has scored. Merrill's on his way, and talk about insult to injury for Kyle Harrison. A 2-run single to make it 5-0.
Nick Pivetta was terrific early on, 4 2/3 scoreless innings, but then the trouble began. Patrick Bailey got the Giants on the board with an RBI double. Pivetta took the mound for the bottom half of the 6th inning. Padres still leading 5-1. He gave up a 1-out double to Jung-Hoo Lee. With 2 outs and Lee still on second, it was Matt Chapman.
As Chapman gets into one and sends it a very deep left. Lockridge is at the wall, leaps up, can't get it. It's up and out, a home run. 2-run shot for Chapman, his 11th of the year. Now a 5-3 game here in the 6th inning.
Pivetta got through the 6th inning with the Padres still leading 5-3. On to the bottom of the 7th, Pivetta back to work. 2 runners got on base. Pivetta came out. Jason Adam came in. Later in the inning, the bases were loaded for Elliot Ramos.
1-0 pitch coming. Ramos, big swing, hits it in the air deep to left field. That is down and bouncing up against the wall. Adames has scored. Johnson on his way. A 2-run double for Elliot Ramos. And a 5-5 game here in the 7th.
Lee then hit a sac fly that scored the go-ahead run. Giants took a 6-5 lead. They still had 6-5 going top 9. The Padres rallied. They had runners on first and second with one out. Jackson Merrill struck out. A double steal moved the runners up to second and third. The game was left up to Gavin Sheets.
1-1 the pitch. Sheets swings, pops it up. Left side of the infield, Matt Chapman on the dirt about midway between second and third, and he makes the catch to end the game. Randy Rodriguez comes out to earn his first major league save, and the Giants score 6 unanswered runs that come from behind and beat the Padres in another tight game here at Oracle Park.
No doubt a tough one for the Padres last night, a 5-0 lead, but they fall 6-5, and the Padres still going for a series win in this 4-game set with first pitch coming up at 12:45. As we get ready for this one, let's go up to San Francisco.
Let's take a trip up to the Padres broadcast booth for a deep dive on today's matchup with Tony Gwyn Jr. in our Padres game preview on the Padres Radio Network.
Well, Tony, before we get to the Padres and the baseball, I got to know, did you guys have a police escort, a security detail on the way to the ballpark today after Dave Marcus made his television appearance last night? TV fame. Did you need a little extra security?
Not on my bus. Dave gets on the first bus that rolls out. So I'm not sure if they had one, but it was pretty quiet on our bus coming to the ball yard today.
Okay. Well, Dave Marcus, TV moment last night. Always a superstar in so many ways. Dave Marcus. Great job, as always, inside the Padres radio booth. Let's talk about this series finale. Right-hander Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres today. Last start against the Pirates, so 4 2/3 innings, 3 earned runs, 7 hits. Before this start, Tony, he's talked a little bit about how good he's feeling, how good he's throwing between starts right now. What will you be looking for today from Dylan Cease?
Yeah, I think for Dylan, it's kind of just been a mixed bag, for the most part, as it pertains to the kind of consistency we saw from him at different parts last year. And I still think he's trying to find it. He has been a lot better. I don't think there's any question about it. The last start kind of put that one aside. He had been pretty good prior to that. And so he's just looking to find that rhythm. All in all, he's still giving his team a chance to win, but it's just not at the level that we'd like to see it, and that he more importantly would like to see it.
On the other side of this pitching matchup, tough customer on the mound for the Giants today, Robbie Ray, who has been really good this year. It's interesting, Robbie Ray saw the Padres a ton from 2015 through 2020 when he was with the Diamondbacks, but the Padres actually haven't seen him since the 2020 season. The National League Pitcher of the Month in May. We'll have more of his numbers coming up a little bit later, but what kind of challenges does Robbie Ray present for the Padres lineup today?
Well, I mean, listen, when Robbie is at his best, I mean, that typically is something that he's in the conversation. This guy who's won a Cy Young in his career. So it's not crazy for him to all of a sudden, be kind of the dominant guy. He just has to stay healthy. And so he's a guy that pitches with that fastball, uses it at the top of the zone. He's got a good slider, although he's not using it as much this year. Nonetheless, this is a guy that you got to be locked in for, because if not, he can go, 6, 7, 8 shutty really without a problem.
Yeah, he's a very, very good left-hander. Tough test for the Padres lineup here today. Tony, I want to touch on the outfield in San Francisco. Obviously, Oracle Park, a really big outfield, also a little quirky with that high brick wall in right field. We saw Daniel Johnson go a long way yesterday to make a key catch in the 9th inning. Jung-Hoo Lee has made some really nice defensive plays in this series as well. You had a chance to play at Oracle Park in the outfield there. What is the key to playing in that outfield in particular, both with the size and some of the quirks it has?
You just have to stay ready, because nothing is as it seems when the ball is in the air.
Yeah.
The flags are never right. And because I think the wind constantly swirls within the field of play, you just have to be able to adjust. And I think the more experience you get in the outfield here in particular, the better. Because as we saw with Daniel Johnson, he made the nice play going to right center in the 9th, but earlier in that game, he got a little close to that wall on Sheets' triple, and it ricocheted, and then he had to go chase it. So, and that's all wind. Like, it's hard to tell, because it swirls, where it's going to end, how far it's going to go. But I think both sides have done a pretty good job, under the circumstances.
Well, Tony, appreciate the time as always. We'll talk to you and Jesse Agler coming up at 12:35 as the Padres go for a series win in San Francisco. As always, thanks so much.
Sounds good.
All right, Tony Gwyn Jr. joining us on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show here on the Padres Radio Network as we get ready for today's game. Padres looking for a fourth consecutive series win, and it's something we talked about over the course of my appearance on Ben and Woods, also on the Padres Roundtable from 10 to 11. But you don't feel like the Padres have, or at least I don't feel like they've played their best baseball as of late. But again, you look up, an opportunity to win this series, an opportunity to win a fourth consecutive series, an opportunity to stay at least just one game out of first place in the National League West. So the Padres continue to find ways to win. They come into today's game 35-25, 10 games above 500. As always, if you want to get involved, you can do that in a number of different ways. You can find me on X at Sammy Lev, SammyLev. Instagram DMs open as well, Sammy Lev there too. You can also comment on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube stream. Let me know who you are, where you're tuned in from. May just give you a shout out here on the air. When we return, we'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. A little bit later, we hear from today's starting pitcher Dylan Cease, and much, much more to do. First pitch coming up at 12:45 in San Francisco. This is the Padres Radio Network.
Stay tuned to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. EcoWater SoCal.
Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. First pitch coming up at 12:45 between the Padres and the Giants. Right-hander Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres. Left-hander Robbie Ray on the mound for San Francisco. Very, very good pitching matchup as the Padres try to take 3 out of 4 against the Giants. Before we turn our full attention to today's game, let's hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt, served up by Sin Lee Food, where fresh meets flavor. Find farm fresh produce, bold Asian spices, and gourmet ingredients at 4665 El Cajon Boulevard. Sin Lee Food, the cook's Asian resource.
Day game after a night game, so no pregame media availability today for Mike Shildt. So let's revisit what Mike had to say after yesterday's 6-5 loss in San Francisco. Padres had a 5-0 lead, but the Giants storming back to win it with 6 unanswered runs. Nick Pivetta solid early on, but then running into trouble. He was charged with 5 runs in 6 innings of work. Jason Adam, tough appearance for him, and all in all, the Giants win it 6-5. Here was Mike Shildt after the game.
5-0 lead, weren't able to bring it home. Nicky was good, had the ability to go back out, pitched to Adames, kind of turned the tide a little bit, and Ramos put a good swing on it. So, they fought. We got up in the lead and didn't add on.
What did you see different in Nick there in that? Because he'd been incredibly efficient.
Really, really good. Third time through the order. Mistake to Chapman, didn't miss it. Again, I thought he was good early, controlled counts, breaking ball was good, got one up to Bailey. Thought he was good. Again, 78 pitches going in through 6. Wasn't cruising, but a little bit of softer hits, ball falls in a couple times. And again, he went back out and complete confidence in him. But, the walk to Adames, kind of set the tone for the 7th.
We talked about it before the game, but to have Gavin back, really still Gavin, how big is that for you guys?
Yeah, huge. Big swing in the first, adds on. The ball off of Harrison for 2 runs. Good job, Lee, and the guys being able to look to score on that one. Just good quality at bats. Had a lot of confidence in him, obviously, at the last at bat. And just a really good player, man. He's a big part for our lineup.
Tatis drove a couple balls. Well,
it was great.
Single. Yeah, I was wondering how good it was to see
it was
him
great. When he got robbed in right center, Lee ran the ball down, driving the ball through the middle, just an absolute force all over the field. So it's good sign.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt after yesterday's 6-5 loss against the Giants. We'll hear more from Mike on our post-game coverage coming up later on this afternoon. You heard Mike there talk about Gavin Sheets. Big day yesterday for Gavin, 2 hits and 4 RBIs. Gavin Sheets now a team-leading 38 RBIs on the season. Full lineup for the Padres today looks like this. Fernando Tatis Jr. in right field leading off. Luis Arraez at first base batting second. Manny Machado at third base batting third. Jackson Merrill in center batting cleanup. Gavin Sheets, the DH, batting fifth. Jose Iglesias at shortstop batting sixth. Xander Bogaerts not in the lineup today. More on that later. Jake Cronenworth at second base batting seventh. Brandon Lockridge in left batting eighth. And Martin Maldonado doing the catching and batting ninth with right-hander Dylan Cease on the mound. Let's tell you who's hot, who's not.
Which player is locked in at the dish? Who needs to kick things up another notch? This is Who's Hot, Who's Not on the Padres Radio Network.
In the hot category, we continue to focus on Manny Machado. Last 12 games batting .348 with a .1056 OPS, 2 doubles, 4 home runs, 9 RBIs, and 8 runs scored in that span. Manny is 1 home run away from joining Giancarlo Stanton, Mike Trout, Paul Goldschmidt, and Freddie Freeman as the only active players with 350 career home runs. And Manny also closing in on 2,000 hits. He should very easily reach both those marks here in 2025. In the not category, we take a look at the starting catcher today, Martin Maldonado, just 2 for his last 29. And that's a look at who's hot, who's not as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 12:45. We go out to Jesse Ackler and Tony Gwyn Jr. at 12:35. Let's take you around the horn.
Let's examine the most important news and the latest information you need to know in the world of Major League Baseball. Sam Levitt takes you around the horn. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Get ready for Major League winning when you join Valley View Casino and Hotel's Players Club and receive over $200 in free instant offers. Visit valleyviewcasino.com to learn more today.
Some big news in Chicago. Billionaire private equity investor Justin Ishbia, who I believe is the brother of Josh Ishbia, I think it's Josh, the owner of the Phoenix Suns, is in line to be the next owner of the Chicago White Sox, according to it's not Josh, it's Matt Ishbia, the owner of the Suns. In line to be the next owner, Justin is, of the Chicago White Sox. That's according to a news release issued by the team today. Justin Ishbia and current owner Jerry Reinsdorf have entered into a quote-unquote long-term agreement, which could lead Ishbia to taking over the team as soon as 2029 or as late as 2034. In the interim, he'll make capital infusions into the White Sox in 2025 and 2026 as a limited partner paying down debt while helping support ongoing team operations. That is according to the White Sox release. So essentially, it sounds like the process potentially for a new owner in Justin Ishbia to take over is now underway with the Chicago White Sox. Minnesota Twins right-hander Pablo Lopez is expected to miss 8 to 12 weeks with a grade 2 strain in his right shoulder. The strain happened happened on Tuesday against the A's, and the earliest he will be able to resume throwing is in 4 weeks. So he's going to be out for a while. Twins right-hander Pablo Lopez. Met shortstop Francisco Lindor broke his right pinky toe on a hit by pitch last night in LA. He does intend to play through the issue and avoid the IL. Lindor is out of the lineup today in the series finale between the Mets and the Dodgers. He is currently considered day-to-day. Doubleheader today in St. Louis between the Cardinals and the Royals. Cole Reagan's returning from the IL after dealing with a groin strain in the nightcap of that double dip today. Jack Caglione picked up his first major league hit in the opener of that doubleheader already today. He's also playing right field for the first time in the first game of that doubleheader, and we'll have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming up in just a little bit. And that is a look at some headlines from around the major leagues. When we come back, we hear from today's starting pitcher, Dylan Cease. We also tell you why Xander Bogaerts is out of the lineup today, our keys to the game, and much, much more to come. First pitch coming up at 12:45 at Oracle Park in San Francisco, right here on the Padres Radio Network.
Hello, my friends. It's Woodsy. Did you know your water quality affects everything? Your skin, your health, even your home pipes and appliances. That's why I made the switch to EcoWater SoCal. Their state-of-the-art water systems eliminate hard water, chemicals, and contaminants that corrode your pipes, appliances, and shower heads, giving you pure, fresh water for drinking, cooking, lawn.
Welcome back to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Your water should be perfect. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 12:45 in San Francisco. Padres going for a series win in the finale of this 4-game set. After today, Padres head on to the Midwest. They take on the Milwaukee Brewers in a 3-game series beginning tomorrow. So another good series coming up against the Brew Crew. Brewers playing really well right now. We'll have plenty more on the Brewers tomorrow. But first things first, Padres going for a 4th consecutive series win here today against the Giants. Right-hander Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres. Left-hander Robbie Ray on the mound for San Francisco. We'll hear from Dylan Cease in just a minute. First, let's tell you why Xander Bogaerts is not in today's lineup.
Who's in? Who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit him up 24/7 at badafulkerson.com.
Well, Xander came out of last night's game with a sore left shoulder. He is out of the lineup today. It's the same shoulder he fractured last season. That's about all we know. Sounding pretty hopeful that Xander will only need maybe a day or two to get that shoulder right again. But again, it is the same shoulder that he fractured last season, but he is out of today's lineup. Unclear if he is available off the bench today or not. Quick update on Yu Darvish. Kevin Acee reporting in the San Diego Union Tribune this morning that Yu will return to San Diego instead of joining the team in Milwaukee. He plans to throw a 3rd bullpen session this week at Petco Park tomorrow or Saturday. I should have said 3rd bullpen session of the week at home at Petco Park tomorrow or Saturday. So continues to be good news, good updates for Yu Darvish, and it sounds like the progression from the bullpen sessions would be another rehab outing at some point. So we'll see what the updates continue to be on Yu Darvish. And that's a look at Xander Bogaerts, Yu Darvish, what the deal is with both those guys. Bogaerts, again, out of the lineup here today. Well, Dylan Cease makes a big start for the Padres here today. Comes in a 4.66 ERA in 12 starts so far this season. Coming off a so-so outing against the Pirates his last time out. We'll have plenty more on Dylan Cease coming up in our pitching preview. Dylan Cease spoke with Padres broadcaster Bob Scanlon before today's start.
Hey, Dylan, you've thrown the ball really well here in the past. Your thoughts on pitching here in this ballpark?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I feel comfortable here. Honestly, I like the city in general. I like the ballpark, and just one of those places I've had good success.
Are there certain things in certain ballparks that you feel more comfortable with? And if so, what is it? Is it the slope of the mound? Is it a visual thing? What might it be for you?
Yeah, I haven't thought about that too much, honestly. I mean, the mound obviously plays a role. For the most part, I find most mounds to feel pretty similar. Some will feel a little higher than others. I don't know if they actually are or not. The visual, yeah, I mean, that's definitely, probably part of it. But, I don't know. I mean, for whatever reason, I just, I feel good here.
Does it make a difference when you've had previous success in a ballpark as opposed to maybe having some rough outings, or do you try to, no matter what's happened in the past, you put it behind you?
I mean, honestly, not really, because in baseball, I mean, anything can happen, I try not to get kind of swayed either way. It's like I said, I mean, anything can happen.
As far as how you've been throwing the ball lately, it looks like you've had some outings lately where you've got that A stuff going. You feeling like you're getting pretty locked in?
Yeah, I've actually had a really good work week this week. I like where I'm at. I'm not too thrilled with kind of overall my performance, but it's been better the last, 6-7 starts. But there's definitely a lot more in the tank, and I think I'm pretty close to kind of getting to where I've been.
It seems like in the past when you've gotten on a roll, it'll last for quite a while. Are you getting that feeling again?
Yeah, like I said, I feel really good with where I'm at. Had a great work week, and I mean, I tend to, once I find it, I'm able to repeat it. It's been a little bit elusive this year, but I mean, that's part of the game. All it takes is one good start to kind of get some momentum, and then hopefully I can provide 18, 20 more really high quality starts.
As far as seeing a lineup 3 times, that's a little bit unusual, and obviously nobody has your identical stuff, but how much are you able to glean maybe in terms of approach or just certain things that you see out of the opposing side getting that extended look?
To me, that's more of how am I executing as opposed to needing to change because of who I'm facing. If I'm going that day and I get in a good rhythm, and it's like maybe 3rd time through you hit them with fastballs, or it's more about what I've got going on as opposed to them, really.
That was Dylan Cease inside the Padres clubhouse before today's start. Good pitching matchup today between Dylan and left-hander Robbie Ray on the mound for San Francisco. We'll have much more on that pitching matchup coming up in our next segment. Again, first pitch coming up at 12:45 at Oracle Park in San Francisco. We go out to Jesse Agler and Tony Gwyn Jr. in 20 minutes here on the Padres Radio Network. Let's give you our keys to today's game.
How will the Padres unlock a win today? These are the keys to the game. Presented by El Centro Motors Ford. Meet your new Ford General Manager, Greg Ryan, now at El Centro Motors Ford, your new Ford truck, Bronco, and SUV HQ. Call Greg directly at 619-944-0774.
Key number one, keep the hits coming. Padres have split the last two games, but the good news is that regardless of result, they're hitting. The Padres had 12 hits last night, 10 on Tuesday. In the last two games, they've hit a combined 286. That's after batting just 207 in their prior 20 games. Double-digit hits like they've done the last couple of days. That'll work just fine. We'll see if the Padres can keep racking up the hits here today. Key number two, do a better job against the red-hot Elliot Ramos. The Giants' leadoff hitter is in the midst of an 8-game hitting streak. He's driven in 4 of the Giants' 8 runs in this series. Ramos is in the midst of an 8-game hitting streak. He's batting .353 in that span with a .1039 OPS, 4 extra base hits, 2 home runs, and 6 RBIs. In fact, if you go back to his last 25 games, Ramos is hitting .367, .1051 OPS, 6 home runs, and 21 RBIs in that span. He is a really good young player for the San Francisco Giants, and he has been red hot as of late. How do the Padres do against him today? That's key number 2. Key number 3, hit the right fastball. Ray's most used pitch this season is that four-seamer. He throws it at nearly 51% and has a 183 opposing batting average and 44 strikeouts against it this season. The Padres are hitting .262 against four-seamers this season with a .774 OPS against four-seam fastballs. That's 13th in the majors. So Padres have been a pretty good team against four-seam fastballs this season. Robbie Ray's bread and butter is that four-seamer. How do they match up against that four-seam fastball today from Robbie Ray? Can they hit it? That's key number 3. Key number 4, avoid Randy. And I'm not talking about Randy Vasquez. I'm talking about Randy Rodriguez. This young right-hander for the Giants is really good. Earned his first major league save last night. Has a .066 ERA in 27 plus innings, a 39.8% strikeout rate, best in the major leagues among pitchers with at least 20 innings of work. You don't want to face this guy in the back end of the bullpen late if you're trailing. You really don't. So how do you do that? Well, keep him out of the game. Take a lead into the late innings. We'll see if the Padres can do that here today. And that's a look at our keys to today's game. And coming up a little bit later, we talk about one Padre that, at least last night, started to show some signs of coming around. We'll talk about that in our next segment. But right now, let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
Well, we have one final already today, a game that we were keeping an eye on as the pregame coverage rolled along here in the studio. The Braves had a 10-4 lead against the Diamondbacks going to the top of the 9th inning. The D-backs score 7 runs in the top of the 9th inning to win it 11-10. A disaster for the Braves in Atlanta. Again, they give up 7 runs to Arizona in the top of the 9th inning as the D-backs go on to win it 11-10. Big win for the D-backs. What a comeback for them. Game's going on right now. Game 1 of a doubleheader in St. Louis between the Royals and the Cardinals. Royals leading the Cards 3-0 in the 7th inning. Game 2 coming up later. White Sox and the Tigers in Chicago. White Sox leading 2-0 in the 4th inning. Phillies and the Blue Jays are scoreless in the bottom half of the 1st inning. Games yet to begin. Everything else coming up later. Twins and the A's at 12:35. Orioles and the Mariners at 12:40. Right-hander Brian Wu and his 2.82 ERA on the mound today for Seattle. Mets and the Dodgers finish up their 4-game series in LA at 1:10. Landon Knack on the mound for LA. David Peterson on the mound for the Mets. Astros and the Pirates in Pittsburgh at 3:40. Good pitching matchup there. Mitch Keller against Framber Valdez. Cubs and the Nationals in DC at 3:45. Guardians and the Yankees in New York at 4:05. Max Fried and a 1.92 ERA on the mound for the Yankees. Rangers and the Rays in Tampa Bay at 4:35. Royals and the Cardinals, like we said, game 2 of that doubleheader coming up a little bit later. Left-hander Cole Reagans makes his return for Kansas City after dealing with a groin strain. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Thursday. When we come back, a full breakdown of a very, very good pitching matchup between Dylan Cease and Robbie Ray. First pitch coming up at 12:45 in San Francisco. Padres going for a series win against the Giants. Our pregame coverage continues after this.
You're listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame.
Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. First pitch coming up at 12:45 in San Francisco. We go out to Jesse Agler and Tony Gwyn Jr. a little bit more than 10 minutes away from going up to the booth in San Francisco as we continue to get you ready for the final game of this 4-game series. Padres come in 35-25. The Giants at 34-28. We told you in our last segment on the out-of-town scoreboard about that crazy Diamondbacks comeback win just earlier in Atlanta. Arizona scoring 7 runs in the top of the 9th inning to erase a 6-run deficit. They went on to win it 11-10 against the Braves. And the Padres will see the Diamondbacks pretty soon here. 11 of the Padres' next 14 games, including today, come against teams in the National League West. 1 against the Giants, then 7 against the Dodgers, 3 against the Diamondbacks. So we will see the Diamondbacks here pretty soon. They now sit at 30-31. Bit of a disappointing first third of the season for Arizona, but as we know, they are a pretty good competitive team, and getting excited for that series against Arizona on the road coming up in a little bit. And by the way, speaking of the Dodgers, remember the Padres host the Dodgers Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at Petco Park. First meetings between these two rivals in 2025. Limited tickets do remain for those upcoming games against the Dodgers. And if you want more information on those tickets, you can go to padres.com/tickets. They're expecting, well, more than 40,000 in the building Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Should be a lot of fun. Again, I'm being told limited tickets still remain. So if you want to be there Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, my recommendation, get those tickets ASAP, as soon as possible. Let's tell you what to watch for in this series finale.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For, presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovementsSD.com.
What to watch for in today's game. Was last night a sign of things to come for Fernando Tatis Jr.? Tatis was 3 for 5 with a double last night. He also hit a line drive out at 106 miles per hour off the bat. It was caught. Last night was Tatis's first 3-hit game since April 30th. And between those 2 3-hit games from April 30th until last night, Tatis has hit just 186 with only 10 runs knocked in 29 games. So what to watch for today? Can Fernando keep the momentum going? Again, first 3-hit game in over a month yesterday. Is that a sign of things to come for Fernando Tatis Jr.? Did we see Fernando take a significant step forward in coming out of this slump last night? That's what to watch for in today's game. Well, one guy that is not slumping, Manny Machado, continues to swing the bat really well. Since April 29th, Manny has recorded a hit in 25 of 32 games, hitting .350 in that span with 7 doubles, 5 home runs, 18 RBIs, 15 walks, and 24 runs scored. He has the highest average in the National League during that span going back to April 29th. And overall, Manny enters today 4th in the National League with a .314 batting average. He has 20 multi-hit games, and we'll see what Manny does today, batting 3rd and playing 3rd base in this series finale. We've got a marquee pitching matchup. Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres, Robbie Ray on the mound for the Giants. Let's dive in.
Let's take a look at who's on the bump today with our starting pitching preview on the Padres Radio Network.
Right-hander Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres today. 1-4, a 4.66 ERA in 12 starts this season. 63 2/3 innings, 61 hits given up, 78 strikeouts, and 21 walks. Last start against the Pirates, 4 2/3 innings, 3 earned runs given up, 7 hits, and 1 home run allowed. He went 5 innings and allowed 3 runs against the Braves in his start prior. That came after a run of 3 consecutive quality starts. This will be his first start of the season against the Giants. Cease had a 3.18 ERA in 4 starts against the Giants last season, had 2 quality starts in San Francisco. Cease has a career 1.59 ERA in 3 starts in San Francisco. So Oracle Park, a building where Cease has typically had a lot of success. We'll see if he can do that again here today. Meanwhile, left-hander Robbie Ray on the mound for the Giants. The 33-year-old's having a great year. 7-1, a 2.43 ERA in 12 starts, 70-plus innings, 48 hits given up. He struck out 78 and walked 30. Ray has been outstanding as of late. He was the National League Pitcher of the Month in May. 7 straight quality starts, a 1.57 ERA in that that span. He struck out 53 and allowed just 28 hits in 46 innings over those 7 starts. His last start against the Marlins went 7 innings, 1 earned run given up on 2 hits. And Robbie Ray, really interesting, has made 18 career starts against the Padres. But here's the thing. They all came with the Diamondbacks from 2015 through 2020. So Robbie Ray saw the Padres a ton in the early part of his career, but hasn't seen him in 5 years. So first time in a while, Padres will see Robbie Ray, and that's a look at our starting pitching matchup today. Robbie Ray on the mound for the Giants, and for the Padres, right-hander Dylan Cease. As far as guys in the lineup today for the Giants against Dylan Cease, Willie Adames is 2 for 9 against them. Patrick Bailey is 4 for 7 against them. Matt Chapman, 2 for 16 against Dylan Cease. Mike Yastrzemski not in the lineup, 0 for 11 against Cease as far as Padres hitters against Robbie Ray. Xander Bogaerts, who again is not in the lineup, does have 4 hits against him, including a home run. Manny Machado has 3 hits against them, including 2 home runs. Martin Maldonado in the lineup today, couple of hits, and not a ton of success for the Padres against Robbie Ray. For example, Fernando Tatis Jr. is 0 for 3 against them, but we'll see. Again, it's been a long time since a lot of these guys have seen the very talented Giants left-hander. As always, we appreciate you listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Your water should be perfect. Well, we have a couple of minutes to spare here before we send things out to Jesse Agler and Tony Gwyn Jr. So let's set the table one more time for you. Padres come in 35-25. Padres have won 8 of their last 12 games. And today, the Padres aim to secure a 4th consecutive series win. Padres enter today in 2nd place in the National League West, just 1 game out of 1st place behind the LA Dodgers. Again, the Dodgers losing the Mets last night, so the Padres did not lose any ground in the division last night. Giants are right there as well, 34-28 on the year. They sit in 3rd place in the NL West, 3 games out of 1st place. It is interesting to think about how this series has gone. It's been an exciting series, 3 one-run games in this series, a 1-0 win for the Padres on Monday, a 3-2 win on Tuesday, then a 6-5 defeat in yesterday's game, but really opposite kinds of games. On Monday and Tuesday, Padres offense did not do a lot at all through most of the game, but the Padres bats woke up just in time to come back and win both those games. And the Padres also had big hits late in both those games. Then yesterday, the Padres offense is cruising early on, a 5-0 lead. Nick Pivetta cruising, and then all of a sudden the Giants offense wakes up. They score 6 unanswered runs to come back and win it 6-5. Padres, remember, did have the tying run 90 feet away from scoring last night in the 9th inning, had the go-ahead run on second base as well. Could not find that big hit late. So it's been a fun series, an interesting series, and so far in this series, all you need to know, 3 consecutive 1-run games. So it does beg the question, what kind of game do we have today between these two teams as the Padres go for a series win? Giants trying to earn a series split in this 4-game set. What's in store today with this marquee pitching matchup between Dylan Cease and Robbie Ray? Well, we're going to find out. When we come back, Jesse Agler, Tony Gwyn Jr., come your way. Full starting lineups, first pitch, and all the play-by-play. I'll talk to you on our post-game coverage. You're listening to your home for San Diego Padres baseball, 97.3 The Fan, and the Padres Radio Network. Enjoy the game, everybody.
Tony Gwyn Jr. here. Upgrade your